So it's 9:30, so I'm going to get started and just admit people as they come in. I'm Maria Decabooter with NAU Social Media, and today we're talking all about how we can use social media to support each other. I have some of my team with me today to present alongside me, and I will let them say hello.
Hi, my name's Austin Young. I'm the digital communications specialist here at NAU Social.
Hi, my name is Carrington Bell, and I'm the graduate assistant.
Hi, my name is Becca Sullivan, and I'm an intern here at NAU Social.
And I hope later you'll take advantage of the fact that we have students with us here today. As much as I can share information and knowledge that I know that you guys really want to know what they think and how to connect with them. So I'm really glad that they don't have class right now so that they can be here along with us today. So before we jump in, hi, Trevor. Before we jump in, we're just going to see kind of like what you guys feel. What are your thoughts on social media? Because we know it varies all over the place in terms of what people currently use, what the preferred platform is, how familiar you feel on it. So our first question, and we're going to use the chat to share our answers. What is your favorite social media platform? A lot of Insta coming in, Facebook. Emily, that's awesome. That's a great reason. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking about Instagram a lot today because that's what we found a lot when we've done social media office hours, when you guys have reached out to us, is that more people are creating new Instagram accounts. So we'll be talking about that later in the session. The next question is, what platform do you engage on the most for work? So a lot of us said Instagram or Facebook, but does that hold true for what you have to do for NAU? A lot of Instagram, Facebook. With us, it's changed a lot too, as you've seen TikTok explode. Our team has put a lot of effort into that as well. And yes, we've seen a lot of YouTube, especially with, creating virtual events. A lot of people are streaming to YouTube. And now, what do you use social media for? What's your primary purpose? A lot of fun, a lot of connection, sharing information, fundraising, that's a good one. Catching up with old friends. So a lot of mixed purposes for why we use it and the resources we use. So next question, how many hours are you on social media a day? Too much or not enough? Yeah, it's hard, especially I feel like a lot of us before the pandemic, we were, thought we were okay, but then, now we're on it all the time. So it's a hard balance between the two. So talking about the pandemic, pre-COVID, social media was one of the main options, one of many options for getting the word out. We talked at last year's mental health symposium and student leadership conference, and we cautioned students to make sure that they weren't on social too much. We didn't want them to have to post to prove that it happened, and we wanted them to connect IRL in real life. So then the pandemic hit, and we were shifting back, taking back what we said, because as you all know, more people are using social media to connect, in place of that real life experience. And so that's why we created this session. We know you're all using social media, and we want to help lift everyone up and be a source of positivity and connection. So today we're going to talk all about using social media for good. But I do want to acknowledge that the bad rep that social media gets. I completely agree that there's a lot of negatives out there. It can be negative to your mental health. There's struggle with social media addiction. But again, there's a lot of good that can come about when used correctly. And I hope that's why you all signed up for this session, because as a campus community, we can use our power to really help lift each other up and help people feel more connected, less isolated at a time when we're more isolated than ever. And just from examples from our interaction with our campus partners, sometimes working with others on social media, we wouldn't have had those opportunities pre-COVID. So again, using technology for the right way and for positive reasons, there's a lot that can be done. So while we can't attend and show our support in person, we can connect and come together. We know a lot of you are having Zooms and lives, and it's so great to see things continue to happen. And so again, we're just going to do everything we can to help you and to help support each other. But before we dive in, we first need to go over a few things. And so this is what always happens in our social media office hours. Before we jump in, we need to go over the basics. And doing these three things will help strengthen your social media community and also expand your influence and your reach. So we're going to check them out. So the first one is identifying your social media community. Who is your tribe? When you start with social media, you never just want to jump in. You always want to have a purpose behind what you're doing. So for your account, what are your goals? Who has similar goals like you? How can you join in and amplify those conversations? Because social media is social, so we want to engage and be part of the larger social media community and not, little islands by our own self. So once you kind of have an idea of who you are, the why behind what you're doing, and the type of content you want to produce, then this is your opportunity to connect with others. Just as you keep up with journals and news, keep up with your social media news feeds. Because the most important thing that people want on social is, just to connect and to stay relevant, see what other people are doing. So think about what are common hashtags in your industry. Who do you want to connect with? Do some research. The question in the chat, do hashtags work? Yes, hashtags are my favorite thing ever. But I would say it's really helpful more so on Instagram than on Facebook. Facebook, people tend to get a lot of clunky, how do they work? So let's say you have an Instagram feed and you are, let's say you're NAU Health Promotions and you're doing some mental health post. So on the end of your post, you get to hashtag like mental health matters, self-care, and you, by just having those, you are bringing yourself into that larger conversation. So anyone who searches for those hashtags, and a lot of people search for hashtags. I do that a lot for my research and for our work. You click on that and then you see everything that comes up. And so that also will get you into larger conversations too. The explore feed, that can pop up because if you have similar accounts, your feed might show up in there, explore more.
And just think of hashtags as categories. So when you put a certain key phrase, it tags your post with that and allows people with similar interests or who are looking for that to find it.
And Julie, yes, you want to have 7 or more hashtags on a post to get better coverage. On Instagram, I would say the more, but especially, you could even add them in your comments. Just some more opportunities to get into those larger conversations. So like when we post, we always put like general ones like Flagstaff, Northern Arizona University, but then also, whatever that specific niche is or topic, we also add those in. So you kind of get the whole gamut of coverage. But yeah, so like I was saying, for work, for NAU Social, we follow a ton of other universities. We want to know how they're communicating their COVID protocols, how they are showcasing their students. And it also helps like with research too. Like we might see something and see like, hey, that's really great, and put a spin on it. But we also are keeping in mind that their audience is different than our audience. And so what might work for them might not work for us.
Next up, understand your different platform roles. Remember, one post does not fit them all. You don't want to post the same thing to everything. Switch it up for different platforms. For Instagram, it would be a visually and aesthetically pleasing picture of a donut. Twitter, you might want to make it light and easily digestible. Shareable. LinkedIn might be more informative with what you went into the process of making or getting that donut. And Facebook might be a combination of maybe everything. For example, you don't want to copy and paste content. You don't want to share the same thing or content to all channels. Remember to customize content for each audience. Some things do not work for particular platforms. You can switch this up by adapting text or switching out content, whether that's the format, whether it's photo, video, or a meme.
Okay, so now we have being social every day. It's always important to be active on social media platforms to keep your audience engaged and hooked on your content. Being social every day will help you increase your brand awareness and visibility. So as a team, we came up with the acronym SOCIAL that will help you guys remember some tips on how to stay social every day, build your brand loyalty, and stand out. So first we have the S for swipe up, save, and share. We have the O for original content. You always want to be thinking about the next big thing. We have C for connect and collaborate with others. Being connected to other accounts can bring you more followers and just help you connect with other accounts that can help build your brand. We have I for interact with accounts you follow. A is for ask questions and answer questions. And L is for like posts daily and spread the love. We're all trying to navigate the world through social media right now, so it never hurts to support and spread love. So lumberjack, sorry, Maria.
Carrington.
Oh, the last thing I was just gonna say is the lumberjack tip we have for you guys is to take a 5-minute coffee break and do at least one of the things on this list. So like a post, save content, leave a comment, post on Insta.
And I always like to bring it back to the analogy of going through a magazine and earmarking those pages. You take the time to have your coffee, your tea, and, earmark it, go back to it later. This is doing the same thing, but it's just with your phone and on social media. So if you can have time to just choose at least one of the things on our list, you'll be off to a good start.
Sharing the love on different platforms. Up first, Facebook. Facebook in general is perhaps one of the most popular, accessible, and widely used platforms out there, spanning across generational and cultural lines. It also has some of the most features. When interacting with the platform, remember to comment consistently and share things. Create and interact with Facebook events, join and participate in Facebook groups. Don't be afraid to reshare an event or a post. Actively join or participate in live streams. Comment on those. Text or email links to posts or events. Don't be afraid to share Facebook content beyond the actual platform itself. And did you know that you could also simultaneously link it with other accounts? Like, for example, we share things on our Instagram story, but they'll show up on Facebook too, which gives added further reach to them.
I think that's a lot of things we get to, is about, like, I want to be on social media less. I don't have a certain account. We are not telling you to get an account, but like we said, you can share the links that already exist. If someone did an Instagram story and it has a highlight, share the highlight link and email it out. Do it in ways that you feel comfortable with. You don't have to post publicly. That's always nice, but you could always, just choose to email or text, whatever ways work for you.
So, Facebook events. One of the things you can do is create a Facebook event. One of the benefits is that it's easily shareable and accessible. They can be very informative and easy to let people know about events and things going on in your community or on campus. As a Facebook user, if you see people you know, or someone you know, or something you know hosting, you might feel more inclined to check it out or be more comfortable attending it. On the flip side, if you co-host, it adds familiarity and authentication to an event that helps bring both audiences together and might help increase outreach. Remember to add, for example, here's an event from a recent event held by NU Inclusion. I saw one of my friends was attending it, and I saw that a campus organization that I'm very familiar with as an undergrad and as an employee was hosting it. I also saw that they had easily accessible information that made me not have to leave to find out. Everything is just placed right there for you to see. So, discussion time. If there was an event on campus, maybe even yours, how would you go about posting it? And if you wanted to attend it, what would you want to see?
So we're going to break out into breakout rooms for a quick discussion and then come back together. Vicki, I'm going to answer your question while people are joining us. In terms of posting job openings on Facebook, there is an actual part specifically where you can add job descriptions and openings. And so it'll show up in a Facebook jobs little area on your site. Okay,
So-
next up, we're going to have Becca talk to us about Twitter.
Okay, hey everyone. So here at NAU Social, we use Twitter on a daily basis. It's a great platform to promote and engage with other organizations around campus, or just seeing content in general that we can repost and share, or maybe spark inspiration from. So we want to go in depth on a few features on Twitter that help you engage and promote. So first of all, don't underestimate the power of a like, retweet, and comment. If you're going through your feed or your timeline, don't just keep scrolling. Don't be a passive scroller, be an active scroller. So if you see something that you like, or something going on around campus, make sure you either like it, retweet, or comment. So if you retweet, it will show up on other people's timelines. So that way, if there's an event going on or something around campus, they're able to see it as well. So another great feature, or part of Twitter that helps with engagement, is tagging accounts in your tweets. So this helps get the word out about certain events, or if you want to promote something. And it's a great way for students to see other organizations on campus. So if you're promoting a certain event, or you're congratulating someone on an accomplishment or something similar to that, you can tag their direct account in the tweet. That way your followers can click right on their page and it will take them to their account. This is a great way to connect with others and just bring other people to that certain account that you want to highlight. So another feature is quoting tweets. So this is a little more complicated, but it's a great feature that Twitter has to offer. So if you're going to retweet a tweet, you can click that retweet button and it will give you the option to quote that certain tweet. And this is a great way to say promote an event without being over repetitive. So here at NAU Social, if there's an event going on, we usually make like a main tweet that says the time, the location, and any other details that we need to include. And then when it's closer to the event, we can quote that tweet and add looking forward to this event or today on campus. So it's a great way for students and followers to see your tweets and information without them seeing the same tweet 17 times over and over again. It's a unique way to promote events and just a great feature that Twitter has to offer. And then in the next few slides, I'll go in depth on a few of these examples, as well as Twitter lists and bookmark tweets. So Twitter lists are a great way to keep track of your content and organize it in a way that you can go back to it and just see it all in one place. So instead of keeping everything in your timeline and trying to keep track of it that way, this is a great way to input content that you want to go back to and maybe retweet later. So if we see, or on NAU's account, if we see a tweet that we want to interact with, but don't have time to do it right now or are saving it for later, we can save it to a list and go back to that tweet and interact with it later. So this is a great way. If you see an event going on, or if you see another college or organization around campus posting something that inspires you, or I don't know how to put this, but if you see something that if you want to go back to and you want to reflect on later or interact with it, this is a great way to do that. This is easy to access with your Twitter menu. So you'll go to the top left-hand corner of Twitter, there's 3 lines and your menu will appear and this will come up. So you'll be able to access your list right there on the left-hand side of this slide. So another feature that Twitter offers is bookmarks. So this is similar to Instagram's folder feature where you can save posts. So you'll also access this in the main Twitter menu where the bookmarks are, as you can see here. And so this tweet on the right by this gentleman that was heading back up to Flagstaff, we thought this was a great tweet, a great picture of the peaks, and we wanted to share it, but maybe we didn't have time to do that right now, or we were still thinking of a way to quote this tweet and write something creative about it. So we can save it to our bookmarks and access it later. So this is similar to lists, but just a little bit different. So overall, these features are great, and we highly suggest taking advantage of them and trying them out on your own account.
And I just want to add, like, kind of what we were going back to at the start when we talk about, who is your community and finding that lists are great for that. As you can see, this is our list for our NAU account. We follow other university presidents, other university social media. So let's say you're in student affairs and you wanted to create one for, campus health, a list for other campus health people, a list for other campus recs. You can create those lists, and then you just add all the people in it, and then you click on the list, and then you'll see all of their activity. So again, it's just a great pulse check for what other people are doing. And the bookmark list, is great for many reasons. Let's say it was National Mentoring Month is coming up, and Pure Jacks put out something great. And I was like, I need to remember to use that. So I can bookmark it and then wait to share that until the National Mentoring Week, and then share that to amplify the messaging and get it part of that bigger conversation. So it's great for those times when you're like, oh, I don't know if the timing is right to share this, but I know I want to share it later.
So coming back to tagging accounts and quoting tweets, these are just a few examples that we picked out. So the NAU Environment, Forestry, and Natural Sciences account tweeted about Dr. Julie Mueller being awarded a grant, and they tagged 2 NAU accounts in this specific tweet. And that way their followers and students can directly click on those accounts and access those pages. So if they want to learn more information, they can go right to those accounts and access any tweet or comment that they have posted in the past. So moving on to the quote tweets. So here's a NASA tweet that the NAU Environment, Forestry, and Natural Sciences thought was interesting. And this is a great way for them to share it with their followers. So as you can see here, what a great day for science. They tweeted this quoting NASA's tweet, and that way, like I said, their followers can see NASA's video, because most of the time they wouldn't be able to see it if they don't follow NASA. And if the NAU account only commented on the tweet, their followers most likely wouldn't be able to see it. So this is a great way for all of your followers to see this specific tweet in their timeline and see what you had to comment about it.
I'm going to answer a few questions from the chat. Sandy asked, is Twitter list equivalent to close friends on Instagram? Not really, because close friends on Instagram, if you denote someone as a close friend, then when you're sharing content, you are only sharing content to those people. If you have a list, everything is public. And so you're just a way to organize that group of people you want to follow. And then, do hashtags expand the post audience? Yes. So let's say, especially on Twitter, if there's a hashtag that's, you see that the trending hashtags, your post can go into that conversation. So anyone that has that hashtag and clicks on it will see the thread. So that's why Twitter chats are really popular. People have those weekly, especially in certain industry areas, certain research will have Twitter chats, and people use that too. Like, so prospective students, you could say, hey, follow this hashtag, and then you can see discussions that are being held, research that's being done by following a certain hashtag. So we're just going to talk about a few different ways that this certain post could be shared. So thinking about it from different angles, right? So say I am trying to share it from WA Frankie College of Business. Maybe just like think of ways you could expand it. So maybe I'd link back to her faculty profile or quote tweet and say something like, take a class with Dr. Mueller, and then link to the Frankie page or course catalog. So, not only are you interacting with the tweet, but you're trying to get them to do something else. Similarly, let's say you're a colleague of hers and you've worked on another project with her. You could quote tweet it, say, great news, glad to have participated with her on this project, and tag other collaborators with a link to something that mentions the work you're doing. I think just the most important thing on Twitter is tagging people. And so you can also do this. Let's say you didn't tag them in your actual tweet. You can click the people icon and tag them that way, and then they'll get a notification and then they'll retweet it. Anything that makes it easier for other people to share is always a great thing to do. And so another example, let's say you were trying to share this and you're a personal friend. You could say like, so proud of you. Did you know that? And then incorporate an alumni account, like what this NAU is doing now. Just think of ways you can bring in your audience and your network into the tweet. So next up, we have Instagram, which we're going to spend a lot of time. Like I said, we've had the most questions in terms of people reaching out to us about Instagram. And it's tricky because even if you're an original user of Instagram, the algorithm is ever changing. I certainly miss the chronological feed. It was nice to know that I would be seeing things. And so now it's a little different. There's a lot that goes into the algorithm. Instagram has told us that there's 6 factors that influence the algorithm for feed posts. And these are interests, relationship, timeliness, frequency, following, and usage. So we're going to be going through each one of these and talking a bit about it. Okay, so many people think that what you like the most is what's important, but this isn't true. Rather, Instagram is a combination of all your Instagram behaviors. So the accounts you interact with, the people you're tagged in photos with, and of course, the type of posts that you like and comment on. So basically, if you could take anything away, it's Instagram cares about engagement. So it's not just about likes anymore, it's about the larger picture. And so engagements, think about, going that extra step. What makes you stop scrolling to take some type of action? What are those actions? The ones right now that Instagram says are the most important are likes, comments, and shares. And I always like to keep this in mind too. Saves is a really important one you'll see right there. It's not part of what they say is important right now, but it's important to keep in mind that in a lot of other areas, Instagram is testing hiding the likes. And so saves will be really important if that happens and for all users. So next we're going to go over relationship and timeliness. In order for Instagram to show you what you want, it uses those interactions to piece together who is closest to you. And so this could be, people whose content you like, people you direct message, people you search for, people you know in real life. Instagram tries to calculate the relationship and your interest level with all those accounts and serve you content that they think you'll engage with the most. So think about, a moment to think about what you see on Instagram. If you're not seeing what you want to see, think about your relationship to that account. What could you be doing more if you want to see more of that specific type of content? Maybe it's just going back and making sure to like a certain post, to share, to make sure that they're part of the feed. But on the flip side, what if you're seeing content you don't want to see? You need to take action to let Instagram know that, that no longer serves you. So what does that mean? That means if you're seeing something, you can choose to mute that account. You can choose to unfollow that account. But you just have to be active in saying that I don't want to see this type of content. Timeliness. Instagram algorithm cares about when you post. It always wants to serve you the latest, most interesting information. And so while we can't guarantee that Instagram feed posts might be seen in a timely manner, you do have that certainty with stories. So that's why we always recommend using stories to keep yourself at the top of a feed. And make it easier for people to interact and use stories. So encourage people, on your stories or your feed to screenshot and share your stories. Ask them to tag you in content, because then all you have to do is reshare.
Frequency. How often do you use your Instagram app in a day or maybe even in an hour? If you're a frequent scroller like me, your feed and content you see might appear more chronological. Since Instagram tries to show you the best posts that are more relevant to you since your last visit. If you check the Instagram app less often, your feed will be sorted into what the algorithm thinks you'll like instead of chronologically. It'll try to keep you hooked to come back. However, it might not always be accurate or might be misleading to what pertains to the interests of yourself or your community, because it's what the algorithm feeds you. Following. How many organizations or people do you follow on Instagram? If you follow a lot of people, then Instagram has more options to choose from. This will diversify the content you see, your understanding of things at large, and maybe even the content pool you might be able to repost or reshare. This is how we primarily stay in the know for what is going on campus as far as social media is concerned with our campus partners. It's also a simple way we find things to reshare. However, you probably won't see all the posts from every account depending on how many you follow. This is how we're able to see what's going on athletics, like if they're in the middle of a game, or if someone like NU Career has a new thing going on for students, we can see that and share it. On a related note, it might be beneficial to you to remove content or accounts that aren't active to help you see more things that are more active and relevant on your feed. Usage. So, how long do you use Instagram in a single sitting? What is your average session like? If you spend a lot of time on Instagram, you're going to see more posts as Instagram digs deeper into its catalog. How often and how long you scroll really dictates what you see. If you spend enough time on Instagram, you might even run out of new content to see. This is where the algorithm will kick in and suggest content that you should check out from new accounts based on your previous interactions on the app, which might have benefits like diversifying your content and giving you new ideas on how to post and what to post. However, if you only spend a few minutes in the app each day, then you're going to see that day's highlights from the app.
So Instagram stories are more important now than ever. It's a great feature that Instagram has to offer. And here at NAU Social, we love stories for takeovers, for promoting events, and just getting out important information that we wouldn't post on our feed. So stories are a great way to post content because some people may not look through their timeline on a daily basis, but they might look through their stories, and that's where they may get their information or see what people are posting. So it's important to be active on your Instagram stories. That way you can post content, and it's just a unique way for people to see that specific content. So engagement matters on stories. If you engage with an account's stories a lot, their story is most likely to appear first in your story order. So if you, on the flip side, if you don't interact with an account that much and engage with their story is going to appear in the very back, which is probably not the best option if you want to engage with certain accounts. So make sure you react to a story, you can share a story, or you can comment on a story that will send a direct message to that certain account so they can access that. If there's a question or a comment, this is a great way to engage with that particular page.
To answer Vicky's question, an Instagram story is, you don't even need to look for it. It's at the top of your page. So it's little bubbles, and they disappear after a certain time. They're more, whereas a post remains, an Instagram story has a certain time limit and they're more current. So you can post things in the as they happen, but then they'll disappear. So it doesn't clog up your feed or anything. It just shows up where your stories go. And you could share things like flyers there and information for things going on in the future, whereas you could share things more current with videos and pictures.
And I just want to add one more thing about that, especially with COVID and answering students' questions and concerns, stories have been a great way to do that, especially with getting important information now about coming back to campus and any COVID update that we needed to get out fast. This is a great way to do that. So moving on to supporting each other on Instagram, we suggest that you actively go through your feed. Like I said about Twitter, don't be a passive scroller. So if you're on Instagram at the moment, make sure you're actively going through your feed, which means make sure you're engaging with posts, liking, comment, sharing to your story. This is important to promote certain events or just in general supporting other organizations on campus. So this specific post on the right, this is a great example. This is from our main Instagram account. The caption says, "White cap peaks and snow all around. Plenty of places to play in the snow can be found." And then right below it says, "Favorite spot, comment below." So this specific post is encouraging you to comment instead of reposting to your story. So it's definitely beneficial to comment because this increases engagement. So if you just post it on your story, maybe less people will see it, and just the engagement will be further down than what it would be if you were to comment. So make sure you read the caption. It's very important, and this will be a great way to boost engagement on your profile and for others.
And you might have seen it on your Instagram feed, where a lot of people will just, share your feed post to your story and put a big gift sticker with new posts, because they don't want people to see the information. They want people to click on it and go back to their Instagram feed. So that's another good option too, because that if you make it a story, they'll see it because it's timely and it'll go up on the top rather than just hoping people will see it if they scroll.
Okay, so another thing to think about when we're interacting with profiles and when creating original content is Instagram folders. So these are great ways to catalog ideas and save inspiring photos while we're scrolling. So in these folders, you can save posts that you would want to make your own. You can also use these folders as reminders to you to go back and like a post or even comment on a post. And us as interns, we definitely utilize that save button in the right-hand corner when we're working, because we're always trying to make sure we can come up with new ideas that we can put out to students and staff and whoever's following our Instagram account. So what you should save. Student posts or future posts that you would want to make your own. Like I said, posts that inspire you, that maybe you would want to recreate, and posts that you want to return to and engage with later, and to make sure to remember to leave a comment or a DM.
And yes, we had a question from Julie about, is the folder just for the user to see? Yes, the folders you create, your audience won't see it. It's just you, specifically when you log in. These are folders that you'll have, kind of like a Pinterest board, but Pinterest is public, where this is all private. And again, here's a great example. I always like to say, if people are asking, how can we create reminders for students? You can share the post to your Instagram story, and there's a Instagram story feature that lets you add a countdown. So you could add a countdown. So if this one, it was for the SBS forum, and you set the date that it'll happen, and then people will get a reminder on that date. And so let's say you had a scholarship deadline, something like that. You could also use it in that way and have students click on it to follow that.
With all that in mind, remember to participate. For example, engage. Participate in interactive polls and quizzes. It's a super easy way to show your support and understand how others think. For example, if you see a poll or quiz, you might understand people's familiarity or understanding of a topic. So this can help you with dictating what information you want to share in your post or what you want to share. For example, we ask people what their favorite weather is. They say rain or snow. We share rain and snow pictures, and they do generally well because we understand that's what people like to see. Or recently, we test people on what their knowledge is as far as COVID guidelines or testing or things on campus. And depending on how people answer quizzes or polls, we might share information they need, allowing people to have greater access to that knowledge. Send stories to those it might apply to. You can really diversify your potential content and information with this. You can spur conversations with accounts or people. Screenshot story posts and repost to your story and tag accounts, supporting your friends and making your social more active. Again, taking people's content, sharing it on yours, allowing greater access to that information. It might make your account appear more informative and make people want to check you out more, as well as accounts you tag. And sometimes if people tag you, you can simply just reshare it on your account. And more times than not, that information is important to your account or what you do. And leave feedback like awesome job, repping your program, or wow, this is cool. If that's too much, you can simply reply with an emoji. For example, with NEU bound students, we'll say, welcome to NEU, or we'll congratulate them, or with NU grads, congratulate them. It allows people to see your content and might people feel more good about what they post and their relationship with you and your account. And just explore accounts and send a DM. Hi, I'm with NEU. Just want to say your account is great. I just love how you do this. They might be more inclined to share content with you in the future or interact more with your account, creating a better relationship and giving you both content to share and create, leading others to maybe do the same.
I'm very mindful of the time, so I'm going to quickly go over this last feature that we think is really important to share: Instagram co-watching. Comment in the chat if you've heard of this or you have used it before. Basically, to help people stay connected, Instagram launched a feature that allows you to view Instagram posts together with your friends in a video chat. So you can get up to 6 people. You'll start, it's like you're doing a DM. So you like do a group chat, but then you press the video and you will all get to video together, and you'll see all the posts that you've liked or that you've saved in a folder. And so you can use this for a lot of different things, especially brainstorming. Let's say you, a lot of times, like people will come to us like, oh, I saw this great thing on Instagram, but they don't remember, where they saw it. Here, if you've been using, your saves, if you've been creating folders, you can get everyone on at the same time and literally go through the Instagram posts. And so it's just a great opportunity to see what's out there, talk about things. Maybe new creative ideas will come to you. We saw this post around Halloween, and we're like, hey, we need to share this and we should use it for homecoming and Spirit Week. So that's kind of some ways that, it could be incorporated. And up to 6 people can use that. And looking at feed posts, videos, anything you saved or put in folders.
This just ties into how making your account more personal and more human might make people want to interact with it more, because they know that there's that possible relationship where they can find information or get their content shared or have questions answered.
And lastly, we want to help spread the love. So if you have accounts, if you know people that have accounts that we don't know about, please share it with us. And we do features like Follow Friday, where we share all these accounts and we encourage our campus community to follow each other and, help build and support each other. And yes, Julie, we can talk about podcasts also if you wanted to stay on. I know we're at time. But also, just wanted to say, you can always feel free to connect with us. Like we said, please tag us so we will see all of your content. You could share your story with us. social@nau.edu. We also do consultations, best practices, and we are happy to go over all your questions in depth. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to stay on and answer them. And if not, thank you again for joining us today. I hope you got something out of it.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question about, like, when you guys do podcasts, do you use, I think it's called like Podbean or something, to track the analytics for it and track your posts and things like that?
We use Buzzsprout, and so that platform collects it for us. But again, I would say that podcast stats aren't as great because, it's different. Like if you're on Buzzsprout, it shows you on downloads. But if you also have it on Spotify or all these other things, there hasn't been something that's really cumulative and that's like super perfect.
Oh, okay. So it's hard to find something, because I know people used to use like Hootsuite to kind of track some stuff with posts and things for social media, but so there really isn't something that's good for tracking, like if it's something's on SoundCloud and iTunes, there's not something good that tracks like the analytics.
It just depends on how you host your podcast. So like we host it on Buzzsprout, but Buzzsprout also allows it to be on, Apple and Spotify and all that. But each platform is kind of different in terms of what counts as a play or a download, and in terms of sharing information with each other. So
okay,
it's never as complete, like, okay, I know this, but I can see how many downloads and how many people listen to it and all of that. So that also, kind of gives us a better picture.
Does Buzzsprout have some sort of agreement with ITS on campus, or did you have to get approval to use it, or is it just just something that people pay for monthly?
We do pay for it monthly, but we did get approval to use it, and so that way it houses all of our podcasts, but then also gets it out to others. So it's like the main distribution site.
Okay. And then do you guys use anything else for production of the podcasts?
Yes. Audacity. We use Audacity and
Okay.
also Anchor.
Okay.
Audacity is really helpful for editing. And then Anchor has an agreement with Spotify. So if you're doing something in Anchor, you could actually pull music from Spotify, but it'll only show up on your Spotify account and not like if it was on Apple Music.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys have any other tips about podcasts?
Plan it out, you know, just see what works with your audience. I think the most thing that I get is people are saying like, I don't have this equipment, you know, should I start a podcast? Yes, don't let that scare you. A thing about Anchor again also is that it gives you a link, so we can send out a link to people and then they could record. Is it 2 minutes, guys? 1 minute?
A minute.
They could send a minute, and then so you can incorporate other people, and it's really easy to get that audio. But yeah, just go for it. Don't be afraid about like, you know, the overall quality. It's just most important to the conversation. The conversation aspect is what people will want to listen, even if there's, you know, stuff in the background and dogs. It's all part of COVID life, you know. So don't be afraid to get yourself out there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, you guys have a good day.
You too.
You too.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Hold on.